he swears he heard somebody behind him, like, whisper right behind him. I haven't seen anything yet. People say, or Adam says that there's like a little ghost figure that breezes by that kind of looks like him.
So that's so cool.
Yeah.
Okay, you ready?
All right.
I'm ready when you are. Let's go.
This is Kiki at Church's Cantina in Tacoma, Washington, and you're listening to Chasing Ghosts on Scooters in Bars.
Chasing Ghosts on Scooters in Bars, the podcast that blends the modern scooter lifestyle with a twist of the paranormal over a cool cocktail.
This independent podcast follows a group of modern Vespa riders, and we say modern because we ride modern scooters, not because we're modern dudes, because we're not, but we're in search of classic pubs, dive bars, and haunted taverns. This is not smart or safe, but it's really fun. As a disclaimer, we never encourage drinking and scooting, and keep our intake to about 1 drink per hour.
Pretty close to that, right? So anyway, welcome to episode 24, and again, that's really 25 because of our bonus episode of Chasing Ghosts on Scooters in Bars. This one's called Miley and Merril, or Merril and Miley, depending on how we finish this
Which
thing
do you
up.
like?
Well, I liked Miley probably better than Merril because he was a dude. Today we've got Scout.
Hello.
And the Lizard.
Hi, boys.
Or Mark and Lonnie, as most people know them. What's going on? What are you guys doing?
Oh, just living the dream.
Yeah?
Yep. Scooter weather's got the itch going.
So it's going to be 85 today. It's a Friday. No, it's a Saturday.
It's been sunny all week.
In the upper left. And I rode my scooter. I did ride your scooter to work day a couple days ago.
I haven't ridden mine for a week, nor have I had a chance to enjoy my boat because it's still stuck at the
You
dealer
said you
somewhere.
wanted it at the end of the month.
I know, I changed my mind because it's sunshine.
You and 75 other people. We're in nothing but trouble. I'm staying as far away from there as I possibly can. But what's been going on in your worlds? Alani, I saw you went out on a big date last night or yesterday afternoon.
I did. My wife had a speaking engagement at a big function in the hospital world. And I was there to support her. She's rocked it as always, and spent a day at the downtown Seattle at the market.
She's a very impressive human being.
Yeah, she sure is. And
I'm afraid of her.
We all are.
No, she did wonderful as always.
Great. And then you went to the market. What else?
Went to the market. Yeah, you know, we ate the night before. We ate at the Spheres in the Amazon Spheres downtown Seattle.
Nice.
And we also had drinks in what they call a dive bar, a dark, really dark bar in the basement of the Spheres that kind of reminded me of El Gaucho. They had that dark.
Like the one on Second.
Yeah. It certainly wasn't a dive by any chance, but it was dark.
Well, it's trendy to be called a dive bar now. It's a good thing.
Well, we
Did
have
you
something
start
to do with
that?
Not some of the ones that we've gone to, however.
And I got to tell you, I just, on my way here, picked up a flower, a Mother's Day thing from the Star Lake greenhouse.
Nice.
And I was directly across the street from the Star Lake Tavern, and it was pulling me hard, but I knew I had to get here, so I
Well, there's some pretty
resisted.
handsome dudes that could have pulled you hard down.
Another reason.
do you
why
know
I
this?
resisted.
Just as long as you don't close your eyes. Well, that's great. How about you, Scout?
Well, I've just finished up the tennis world.
Nice.
Coaching tennis. I had my last day yesterday. I am now retiring.
Did you have a drink last night to celebrate?
I did. On the way home, I stopped at at Johnny's, Wrong Johnny's in Fife.
Yeah.
Had a few cocktails with some coworkers,
Nice.
and then headed off to my brother's to finish the night.
Wow.
Had some cocktails.
Big night.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had my father-in-law up. It was his 80th birthday, and Beth made beautiful dinner, fillets, and asparagus, and all kinds of really good stuff that went along with it. Some compound butter on top of it. So
Nice.
I stayed pretty keto to my keto roots.
Well, that was one day in the last 30.
I might have...
It wasn't a cheat day, I guess.
No, earlier in the day it was. But, yeah, we had even a little bite of cheesecake at the end, so that was good. And
Is Wally still around?
he's headed back to Oregon.
Oh.
That's what's been going on. I did a lot of travel, but I'm going to talk about that in a minute.
This is Caitlin.
at the Hobnob in the Side Door Lounge, and you're listening to Chasing Scooters. Oh, fuck. This is Caitlin at the Hobnob in the Side Door Lounge at Tacoma, Washington, and you're listening to Chasing Ghosts on Scooters in Bars.
So, hey, I'm still working on my new Catholic thing.
How's that coming along?
Well, pretty good. You know, I got a nice text from Nevin, Coach Nevin, saying that he wanted to join. So I got my first congregation member.
What do you think lured him in?
I think it was the 15-minute mass and mimosa.
You know what? He can double as your bouncer as well.
That's right, because when I do buy that other bar, Sunday mornings will be used for the mimosa mass. So they can just stay, and then I open up like an all-day Sunday happy hour. I think it's genius.
Is that a write-off?
There's no taxes, baby.
There
it's
you
a
go.
church. Anyway, as I continue to learn more about the new Catholic religion that I've started, I'll keep you informed.
Please do.
I did post something on Facebook. I don't know if you saw it, Lonnie, but there was a story about a guy that what's the water they use for baptism?
Holy water.
Baptismal pool.
Juice. The font.
Yeah, whatever it is. Yeah, so they catch this guy in there rubbing one out. And it's a story. You can find it on our Facebook page. I posted it because I just thought it sort of fit into the new Catholic thing.
So free and liberal. That's the way you want
He
it.
got himself in a little trouble. He says he's never going to do meth again.
Well,
Was there an overbite involved?
There always is.
unlike the old Catholics, you can't go to jail for that.
And so that's
It was probably a priest. It's a new way they're doing it now that they can't fondle kids.
yeah.
So he could be a new member too.
So I
New
got more
Catholic.
reaction to the new Catholic thing than anything we've done on the podcast because I think just about everybody was a Catholic at one point or another, and I've just sort of identified with that.
Or at least living a guilty life.
Hey, the other thing is our Grit City guest spot on the Grit City podcast dropped last week, and no doubt it was their highest download week ever.
Well, when are we getting the invite back?
It was lots of fun, and you can catch it at gritcitypodcast.com or anywhere else you find podcasts. And I think the episode is called, surprisingly, believe it or not, Chasing Ghosts on Scooters in Bars, number 66.
Oh, 1-6 shy.
It would have been very cool if it were 666, but we'll take what we can get.
Well, the new Catholic will drive that away.
No, it's part of it because
Oh.
I think I'm going to be able to do exorcisms too. I think there's going to be some of that's built in there. I brought it up earlier, but I had a brutal travel schedule for April. You know, we did our little weekend in Nashville, but I came back and I jumped straight onto a seaplane from Kenmore Air, and they fly these old de Havilland beavers and otters. And
Was this part of your birthday month?
well, it's part of my birthday month, but it was a work trip doing some planning up in the San Juan Islands. So I flew up there for a couple of days, came back, did have the weekend at home, and then flew to Sarasota on Monday mornings in Florida for some boat testing, which was kind of cool and warm and
That's
nice.
like across the country.
Picked up some miles from my Alaska Air plan. Came back, was home for the weekend again, and then headed to Austin, Texas, actually right outside of Austin, to a resort called Horseshoe Bay, which was pretty, it's near Lake Travis and all that stuff down there, and it's big boating area, big sea ray area. And I got to meet Chef Tim Love, who did a big experience cooking event with us, or about 350 people, and
Wow.
we all had our own table and our own grill and our own food prep.
Wow.
And then he stood up in front and we grilled steaks, we grilled shrimp, we grilled vegetables, and then
Did he do that little volcano trick with the onions?
No, it wasn't a teppanyaki. Yeah, but it was really good. He did something I'd never seen before. Two things. One is we had these beautiful ribeye steaks. He actually threw them down on the coals of the barbecue on the
What?
mesquite on the wood.
Wow.
And the other is he mixed the rub and the seasoning, but also he put lemon over the top of the steak, which I've never done before. And I'll tell you, it was delicious. And
Who knew charcoal could be so good?
Charcoal, you shake it off, and there really wasn't anything on there, but that's not rub. That's just shaking it off. But he's got restaurants in New York, in Austin, Fort Worth, Knoxville, Tennessee, and he's won and competed on Chopped and Iron Chef, all that kind of stuff. So he's a celebrity chef, and if you look at our Instagram account or our Facebook, you see my photo with him. He and I had a fun little interchange. But somebody should fact check me on all the stuff that he's
Oh,
been
we
on.
do.
And finally, Keith, our partner, our writer, friend Keith Pandominomo, he's been busy. He couldn't make it today or on our last ride.
What's he been
Remember?
up to? Yeah.
He had a commitment to a birthday party.
Oh, that's right.
So apparently he and his wife Mary met some very nice people at the dog park, and they were invited to a doggy birthday party.
Oh, how sweet.
So he couldn't ride. Anyway, it sounds like the social event
He
of the
needs
season.
to buy some big
the
boy
dog park
pants.
social event of the season. Several people, we are told, were feeling snubbed that they weren't invited. The dog park people. So they were relieved they were included.
They're the new best friends in the dog
they
world?
are. So he missed the ride, but he did try to catch up to us, if you remember, Lonnie, and he never made it. Well, he made it, but we had moved to another bar and then
he
another
did take
bar.
off and try to find us?
yeah, they were at the Mule when I was pulling in here, and he goes, "We're at the Mule. You said you'd be there." And I said, "We were there. We're there for 45 minutes. We
Yeah.
got a story from." And he goes, "No, we walked in. They said you just dropped in for a second."
Well, that's bullshit.
So I think they probably are at the Mule used to people sitting down on a bar stool at 1 and leaving at 5 and teetering off to their car.
We were at the Mule for about an hour, though.
Well, somebody's lying here.
And that was
Yes.
a good stop. And then we took off, and the Lizard rode 45 minutes or so all the way home. As you remember, we split off, and I took off and went home.
That's right.
You guys probably went to the Poodle Dog or
Headed
somewhere.
up to Three Tree Point. No, I headed straight home. I was very smart. I had Beth
What
told me.
a disciplined new Catholic.
I am, and Beth told me don't come home a hot mess. She also said something kind of funny today. She said her dad asked her, "Do you listen to Mark's podcast?" And she goes, "No, I live it."
That is good.
That's perfect.
Hey, this is Chef Tim Love, and you're listening to Chasing Ghosts on Scooters in Bars, live from Austin, Texas.
So, Mark, how have we been doing on reviews and our numbers? What's the data?
Well, first of all, I want to thank some people that recently left us a couple of 5-star reviews on iTunes. which was
5-star?
nice. Yeah, they didn't say anything, but all they did was rate us, which was nice.
Wow.
So we picked up a couple. So I want to say thanks for that. We did get a couple of comments on Facebook, which is nice, and so really appreciate it. But we, of course, are always open to constructive criticism and reviews. So
No, we don't like criticism.
But if you like what you hear, please recommend us to a friend and really show them how to listen to podcasts. That's one of the things we find when we go to these different bars and we interview bartenders and servers. They don't really all know how to listen to podcasts.
They're like me.
And it's so easy. Just grab their phone from them, open up their native podcast app, search Chasing Ghosts, Scooters, Bars, anything like that. We'll come up because, we are the
Number one
scooter podcast in the world that features ghosts and bars. Hit the subscribe button. When you do, it'll notify them each time when our new podcast comes out, which is pretty frequently these days.
We're on a
Sort
roll.
of.
Oh,
Yeah. Actually, it does take us about 40 hours to put one of these together because of all the writing.
Well, the
and
research
drinking.
is important.
Wow.
And we are going to start a Patreon feed here shortly because it gets expensive buying all these drinks and taking the time off from work to go riding.
Well, people don't realize that we do have other jobs as well. So we're busting our asses here.
Thank you for staying with us as these monthly podcasts come out. It's fun for us to do, but also it pisses off our rest of our world because we ensconce ourselves in this garage.
Our constituents don't
In the
appreciate
studio.
it.
Remember, we have a lively Facebook page where we post lots of unusual and scary stuff, scooter pics and bar and pub stuff, of course, links to our shows. We're also on Instagram and Twitter. All you have to do is search Scooters, Bars, and Ghosts in any order, and we come up because
Number one does that to you.
Number one.
Now, do you have any pictures on your webpage of you as a new Catholic in a cloak of any
No,
sort?
because I'm not going
What's your dress? What's the wardrobe
The
for
dress
you?
code is not going to fit for me with what they're wearing. First of all, I don't like the things down to the ankles, the cloaks that go
No?
all the way down. But I do kind of like the incense. It hides the pot smell.
So what are you going with?
As a new
Just a
Catholic, I'm
belt?
going to pick and choose. I'm still doing my research.
Is it just a tool belt?
And a cowboy hat.
This is Olivia at Magoo's Annex in Tacoma, Washington, and you are listening to Chasing Ghosts on Scooters and Bars. And now back to the show.
What time is it?
Oh, you know what time it is.
It
It's
is?
time for Scooter News. Hey, the Scooter News this week is another remote interview. We we got with Merril.
Hey, before we get into that, I got a little news of my own. So just this morning on my way down here, I called my son, my oldest son, who took his Vespa 300 last night from Seattle to Portland to meet up with his buddy who has a 150. For some reason, that big strapping Aj friend of his has a 150. But they took off, and they're doing their own pub crawl / wine tasting thing in the Portland area today. So
the next generation.
Cool.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, so
Did
Alex,
you give him some suggestions?
Well, I just told him to be careful. Keep it to 1 drink per hour. Wink, wink. You know what? I don't worry about you guys very much, but he's my son. I worry about him a lot.
I get that.
Worry, care, same thing.
I have this extra scooter, and I go, I think I'm going to let Davis use that and take that up to Seattle. And Beth goes, no, you're not.
Remember, it is a lifestyle.
Right. So you and I, Mark, were at the Hobnob in Tacoma, and we ran into a guy named Merril.
Yes.
And he rode
he caught your attention because he was geared up and had a gadget next to him.
Yeah, a single wheel stand on, looked like a unicycle with no seat, but super futuristic, one mono wheel thing that he rides all over the place. So
and he was dressed in what appeared to be scuba gear.
Correct,
A
including the
one-piece
hood.
zip-up hood, yeah.
So we chased him down, and we met him at Magoo's. And
Well, it was better to have scooter news at Magoo's.
That's right.
instead of the
So
Hobnob.
let's get into it and listen to what Merril has to say. So we're with Merril at Magoo's. We're doing scooter news at Magoo's. And you ride a mono wheel.
Yes, I do.
So tell us about what is the technology behind that?
How'd you get into it? What made you buy it? I was just trolling the internet and I saw this old retired doctor from Belgium. He was 89 years old, and his wife had died 13 years earlier, and he was a bicycle rider. And his children didn't want him to ride a bicycle anymore, and he got into that. And I saw that, and I said, well, hell, if you can do it at 89, yeah, I can do it.
And how long ago was that?
2 years ago.
Didn't you tell us it was the largest wheel mono scoot that there is?
That's the Dotway Monster. Dotway Monster is the largest wheel on the market today. They also have 9-bot Z10 and Motion V8. So there's 3 or 4 companies. Anything after that, don't even bother buying it.
What's the whole component weigh?
That one comes in at 67 pounds. There's another model that's identical to that one, but that one has an extra battery in it, which would add another 12 pounds.
So you ride from Tacoma to Seattle on that, is that correct?
Yes, I go to Seattle, to Alki, to Ballard, just to see what's going on. And then I go down Brooklyn Avenue, go on University Ave, go across the bridge, come up on the north end of Broadway, go down Broadway, drop into Chinatown, and then go down on Airport Way, and then go to South Center, and then get on the Duwamish Trail and blast.
The interurban trail, right?
The interurban trail, yeah.
Yeah. So how far will that thing go on a single charge?
Based on 150 pounds, it's 138 miles.
How fast will that go?
That one, expert riders can get it up to 45. I've heard 48, but I'm going to say 45.
And where do you cruise? Around 30?
I cruise, like when I came over here, I got it up to about 27 miles an hour. That's fast enough. I mean, I'm only going through.
And you ride on roads and sidewalks or something?
I treat it like a bicycle. I ride it any damn where I want to.
Can't beat it.
That's
on the road.
right.
Scooter news on the road.
All right. Thank you, Merril.
So, Lizard, do you have any interest in getting yourself a Gotway Uniwheel? Uniscooter, whatever they are.
No, I was at the gym this morning and we were doing exercises where we were balancing on one foot. I just about took out the whole group. It's not my thing.
Well, maybe you can get the scuba-looking gear.
Well, I wouldn't mind having some gear.
The new Catholic looking that under your blanket, you have your little scuba gear. You can do whatever you wanted down there.
So guess what happens after Scooter News? Well, that's right. Spooky
Spooky
News! So Netflix just released Extremely Wicked, Shockingly Evil, and Vile. It is yet another of 8 movies about our local horror, Ted Bundy, who grew up right here in Tacoma. In fact, Jeff Carlson, who told us the story of the Calaveras County Monster some time ago, on our bonus episode. Number 25. Went to law school with him at University of Puget Sound, UPS Law School.
What kind of guy was he?
Well, as Jeff said, He goes, well, he seemed like an okay guy.
Yeah, a lot of people thought that.
So Zac Efron plays Bundy in the movie on Netflix, and Lily Collins plays his longtime girlfriend, Elizabeth
Klopfer. Put the P in there.
She always claimed Bundy was innocent. And I remember this because, at the time when he was active, I was actually a senior in high school, but I had a Volkswagen of a similar color, and I was on my way to UW. And so even though I was 6 or 8 or 10 years younger, now I'm probably older than him because they killed him. Some people, because I liked the girls, I'd be in my Volkswagen. I didn't have a cast, but I did
so you were trolling also.
I got a quizzical look here and there. So anyway, Lily Collins, the actress, says she was haunted by the ghosts of Bundy's victims while she was filming the movie.
Whoa.
She was woken nightly at 3 a.m., she says, when the veil is thinnest. And in her words, she says, I would go downstairs and have a cup of tea, trying to figure out why I had woken up again. I started being woken up with phases of images like the aftermath of a struggle. And so she believes that she was contacted or alerted or whatever by the spirits, not in a scary way, but she believes they were showing her support and to thank her and the team for telling their story. So
was that Netflix?
It's a Netflix movie.
No, was that Netflix talking to her?
No, it was
saying thanks for doing this movie?
It was The Guardian, which is a classic rag on across the pond. We'll give them the credit. I didn't grab the byline or who wrote the story, but certainly not as spooky as Ted Bundy was himself, but timely with a local tie-in, right? He's from Tacoma here. It involves Tacoma, a new movie on Netflix, and my brother Jeff.
Have you seen it?
I haven't yet, but I'm planning on it. I hear it's a little bit brutal.
Okay.
As he was. So there you go. There's your spooky news.
Nice touch.
That is
today.
spooky.
A local spooky.
This is Miley at the Mule in Tacoma, Washington, talking to Chasing Ghosts on Scooters in Bars.
Can we get back to talking about rides and bars?
Good idea, Lizard.
That's kind of what we're about. I mean, I'm about all three, but you're about all two. So we did go back to the Broken Spoke. Mark, I believe you were there. Bobby and Dick were with us. And we met Michelle. Remember her?
Yes, the owner.
She was one of the owners, her and her husband, and she got our
friendly chap.
She got our sticker back up.
Yes, you were
one of the bartenders had taken down one of our stickers, and she said, "Nope, that goes back up."
Yes,
and we got a good spot.
A great premium location.
This is a cool bar. They have 4.5 stars on Yelp as a rating, and they're only a year old and with 47 reviews. So congratulations to them. They feature a barbershop inside, bicycle and mini bike themed. Broken Spoke. It's just around the corner from the 1111. So if they're
Real
too
convenient.
packed, you can just walk around. And 2 great bars right in the same neighborhood. And so is the Zodiac Supper Club is right down the street from there.
They don't do liquor, but they've got a lot of options for drinks.
They do. It's cider. Or they have White Claw, beer.
Lots of different
beer, canned beers, and that kind of thing.
Remember that place we went to that's just a block away, the 12 something on L Street, I remember?
Yeah, the 2121 or whatever it was. Yeah. That was a little
same
2121 is on Portland.
Yeah, wherever. I don't remember what it's called, but it's an address of
right, just a block away.
Yeah, it was a little bright for me. I like a dark bar.
That's the new Catholic in you. A little dark.
All right. We also went to McMenamin's Elk Temple.
The long-awaited opening.
Yes. In fact, we used to follow it when we drive down to the Olympic Club, and they give us updates down in Centralia. First impressions, guys.
Impressive. Little modern, but impressive.
Well, it's not modern. It's just eclectic.
The crowds are modern.
Oh, right.
A lot of people checking it out.
Just everybody. Well, Tacoma's needed
we were there
this.
on opening weekend, too.
We were.
Again, we ride modern Vespas, but we're not modern people.
So one of the things we found was, and we can't say where it is, but they have a hidden secret bar.
Well, they have 5 bars total.
Right, but they don't even advertise this one. You have to have heard about it or whatever. Right. They won't tell you where it is. You got to find it. It's a puzzle.
You asked, and she said, "Well,
I can't tell you.
You'll have to figure it out."
But if you keep moving this direction,
you're on the right floor.
Right, it's underneath the sidewalk on the street, so you're not actually in McMenamin's. You're under the city of Tacoma streets. If you get there and walk down the mechanical tunnel that it takes to get there, you'll see our sticker
There it is.
That's right. And kind of a nice thing, and I'll bring it up maybe later, but got a nice post on our Facebook page from the teacher that we met that worked at when we were at the Flying Boots.
Teacher?
Oh, yes. What was
She
her
was
name?
sitting there.
A lot of teachers' names are
Not that
Lillian.
teachers are unforgettable.
I have her name.
You know, it was Teacher Appreciation Week.
Lakeisha.
Lakeisha. Yeah, sorry, Lakeisha.
And she saw our sticker at the camp bar, took a picture and posted it on our Facebook page.
Oh, really?
And left a nice note. So that was cool.
We owe her
Teachers
a
are
drink.
nice people.
Yes, she's very nice.
What are your thoughts of it?
It's overwhelming, McMenamins. It's overwhelming. It's too big. I mean, not too big. It's huge. There are 6 floors, 4 floors of bars and restaurants. Everybody wants to be there right now, so it is packed. Dinner or food generally takes about an hour to get to you once you're seated. And Bob told me he went there last night trying to get into the upstairs restaurant. It was an hour and 45-minute wait and then an hour for your food. So not that, I mean, it's
Did he
just
stick it
that
out?
busy. It's not that they're trying to not doing a bad job. They're just that busy.
Did Bobby Chong stick it out?
Of course not. They walked down the street to the Wooden City and had a great meal down there.
Well,
That's a
and
great
hence
place.
why the lizard hasn't gone there yet, because I'm waiting for the calm.
So our first one, we had a round of drinks, right?
Mm-hmm.
We checked it out. I get it, Lonnie. It is. There are so many areas and so much different art and drawings and murals and rooms
And hotel rooms.
Yeah, that you can't just do it in one visit. So I went back and I went to a concert with a band called Joseph out of Joseph, Oregon, which is near the Dalles, I believe.
What genre?
3 folky rock,
Okay.
harmonizing 3 sisters. They do a song that I think is popular called like "Raise the White Flag" or SOS, and they were outstanding. They had a player starting before them, can't remember her name, a folk guitar player out of Portland who was great. So the room itself, the venue, the Spanish Ballroom, beautiful. I mean,
Do you think
some
I
of
could
the
have
best stuff I've ever
Do you think
been
I could
to.
have my wife's 52nd birthday there? Is that a good time
Isn't
for a
it
52nd?
her next birthday is her 51st?
Yeah, but I'm
isn't it?
thinking well ahead.
Yeah,
It's
you
probably
need
too
you probably
proud
need
for
to
a
book it
51st.
now.
Yeah, you know what? You should be worried about just making your next birthday.
Good point, Lizard.
So, yeah, it's beautiful, and I think that it's going to be good for the city of Tacoma. They've spent $37 million renovating it. And so if you're in this area, and by the way, Tacoma's taking over Seattle for the arts and more galleries and more friendly toward artists.
What about morgues?
Morgues?
Morgues.
Yeah, we're big on the morgues. The new, as you know, the new clock tower building just got sold, and they're putting in
Old City Hall.
Yeah, putting in mini apartments and retail, and it's haunted. That'll
Will
be
little
cool.
people be living there?
Yes,
if
very
they're the
small.
mini apartments?
So if you get hello, we'll have more on the next podcast as we learn more about McMenamins and get through it. I did go to the basement bar, got in there, and that's a tiki bar.
Oh,
And it's called The Hangout. And that was very cool. I like that.
good place for new Catholics.
Yeah, well, any place they serve alcohol is a place for good Catholics.
Okay, so I will
New
commit
Catholics.
that before we do podcast 25/26, I will get to McMenamins and check it out
Yes, you will, and we will be with you.
on a Monday on my
Even
lunch
better.
hour.
We need to also
And we'll-
plan our hooky ride down to McMenamins in Centralia.
Yes.
Soon.
So we also went to the Camp Bar, it's one of our standard favorites. They recently won the Best of the South Sound for the best karaoke bar.
Oh,
So congrats to them, and they continue to have a very strong rating of over 100 reviews and 4.5 stars on Yelp, and that's not easy. And their little burger is damn good.
Did you know that the lizard does karaoke?
Yeah, yes, we did. You have both songs that you do.
trailers for sale.
Went to a new bar. Lonnie, I believe that was you and I and Dick.
Yeah.
Is that who that
The
was?
Flying Boots
Flying Boots and Wings.
and Wings, that's right.
And the Spur Room.
right. Just
I mean, they have so many names on there, but
on 38th Street in Tacoma,
In
just by Lincoln High School. And I have been by that place 1,000 times and never stopped.
what a classic, cool
Yeah.
sign, too. I mean, the boots and spurs on the boots and just a little, very divey, super divey bar. But we met Charlotte, the bartender there. We met Lakeisha, who we brought up.
Charlotte was a little bit raspy,
Yeah.
if you recall, but she
Little-
had her boots on and she had some attitude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's attractive and scary at the same time.
It depends on how many drinks you have.
They also have a solid rating on Yelp. And as we mentioned earlier, also the Boots to Boot starting point. When we were on the
that's right, yeah.
Grid City podcast, they want to do a pub crawl with us from the Flying Boots to the Rhine House because they serve beer in a boot.
But
And
on
then-
Lime scooters.
On
On
Lime
electric
scooters like we
scooters.
did in Nashville, Tennessee. So we start there, we work our way through and end up at the Rhine House with a boot to boot. I thought it was a
we're
good
in.
idea.
You know what? That would take us right by Jeff Paradise's new bar down there on Fawcett. And
Oh,
we could
right,
hit
right.
that one as well,
Should
but that
be
would be a
open.
fun time.
Yeah, if you want to hear about it, just go to the gritcitypodcast.com. Episode number 666.
6.
Okay, another new one. Another
Which
new
one?
one. The church.
See, I wasn't on this trip. You guys went
Well,
without
that's
me,
too
so
bad.
I
You know,
know.
when you decide to go do other things. Well, you had a dog party?
No, I would not go to a dog party.
We went to the church cantina. I've been hearing about this place. In fact, I heard about it listening to another podcast. Oh, the gritcitypodcast.com, where they featured the church cantina on South Tacoma Way. And Kiki was our bartender there. A little chilly and busy at first, but warmed up just like the Star Lake Tavern bartender. Found out what?
Well,
She was hungover.
yeah, she hit it a little hard the night before, and she admitted. And then, but
Those
she
are the
had-
best.
She put her hair up on the bun and got busy, and it was a good stop.
Maybe she had a shot in the back room.
She
You never
probably
know.
did. You know, that place was a little bit dark, a little bit gothic or
Yeah,
whatever the
yeah.
thing is. But the food was fabulous.
Yeah, and she also said some creepy shit happens there.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't surprise me. They have a small casket as part of their back bar.
Did you get an interview?
I have a little bit that I picked up. I just turned on my recorder when she was telling about it, and then she did an intro for us, which
Oh,
was
okay.
really nice. But I didn't get an official interview. She just didn't feel well enough.
Understood.
However, it's Cuban-inspired Tex-Mex kind of food. It's this kind of crazy blend, and it was really good. And I would say even to the point of spectacular. Maybe we were just really hungry, but man, I had a some sort of chiminga tacos. I don't know what it was.
Yeah.
It was. And what'd you have? You had sliders.
I had some pulled pork sliders with a little Hispanic flair. and they
Twist
were
of the
delicious.
paranormal?
Yeah, and we're cool.
I honestly, personally, wasn't wild about the bar itself. Kiki, of course, was nice, and the food was really good.
So there you go. They also have a 4.5 rating on Yelp. Really hard to do as a new bar, and so congratulations. When you go there, tell Kiki we sent you.
I will.
We did a drop-in at Top of Tacoma.
You guys, this is a long run.
Oh, yeah. Always consistent and cool, though here they've been sold and have new owner, but it seemed seamless. Inside, same hip vibe, hipster vibe.
Speaking of bars for sale, I heard this morning that the
Is this part of
Star
Scooter
Lake
News?
Tavern is for sale.
Oh, really?
That's our bar.
That's our bar.
Because we could rip the carpets out so it would smell like piss.
Finally.
So something to ponder.
No, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Who told you that?
My friend right across the street who owns the Star Lake Greenhouse,
Right.
who's been there for 93 years at the greenhouse.
And they're only 40.
And I think the tavern's been there about the same time.
Oh, it's been there a long time. We
Yeah.
did a whole podcast about
Yeah,
it.
1906
and did the
or
history.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That used to be the road, the military road where they strung all the wire for the telegraph. I mean, it is.
Was Glenn
old,
Campbell on that one?
He was a lineman for the county. And then finally, one of the other places we went to was the Mule Tavern. And it used to be called the Apollo, I believe, on South Tacoma Way, where we met Miley and waited for Keith to show up. Pendominono.
How was the mule?
You know, we liked the
I
Mule.
liked it a lot.
Classic
Yeah.
old skinny long bar, good back bar, hardwood bar. I mean, old. I mean,
Yeah.
it was set up right.
I'm curious why the name change, because was it the Apollo? I remember seeing the old sign in a picture.
I think it
but
was
it's
the
a
Apollo.
really cool place, and regardless of the name,
I
I'll
like the
go
Mule.
back.
It's a
Yeah.
great name, too.
Yeah.
So was this enough time, late enough in the day with all these stops to go to the that little tiny coffee shop looking bar? That only opens at 4 or
Bob's
5?
Java Jive.
Yeah.
That opens at 8 p.m.
Oh, a little late. Never mind.
I mean, I'm in bed by then, especially after a day
We
like
rode
you should
right
be.
past.
You should be.
It is a very cool place, and we do have to get there. We're just going to have to power up at 7:30 at night and drive down there, or start in the afternoon and just get there after drinking just one drink per hour.
And, you know, in the summertime, we got daylight till 9:30, so we can, not that we don't ride at night, but we can get there.
Yeah, for sure. But so the Mule, Miley, wasn't open till 4. And we were coming out of the church cantina at about 3:30. And we were going, it's too bad we can't go to the Mule because it doesn't open till 4. And we look over there and the doors are open and the open sign is on. So we zipped around the Meridian, the center thing of
Medium.
Medium.
Yeah. Probably not a super legal maneuver, but
We were feeling
Desperate times.
immortal right at that point.
because we are.
Yeah, we backed in and met
We're new Catholics that we are.
Yeah, no matter what, I'm safe, right? We backed in, met Miley. I said, "You're open early?" And she goes, "Yeah, I just felt like opening early today." She was in a very sunny mood, very, very nice. But she informed us she didn't think the bar was haunted, but that she had lived or was living in a haunted house.
Oh, did you get a story from Miley?
We did, and it's a very, very good story because it's connected where she lives to our local native population and connected to someone that we tangentially know. That was cool. And so I think let's do this. Why don't we listen to her story, and I'll get your feedback.
I'm ready.
I'm
Let's
not
do
sure
it.
you guys have heard.
You know what? Miley was fun. This will be good.
The house that I live in has a big, like, kind of finished basement, but unfinished carpeted. It's got sort of like the Viz Queen covering the insulation. It's not very luxe, but it's a lot of room, so I rented it as a studio. And my first night staying there, there was like already a king bed kind of tucked into one far corner, just next to like where a storage area for underneath the staircase going down to it was, and then just a big expanse, the entire footprint of the house. And when I was getting my walkthrough from my friend / landlord, she was kind of apologizing for like the stuff that was left there, you know, saying like, you know, I just bought this house, you know, she's my age, she's in mid-30s, just bought this house for my family, they've lived here for generations, this is the accumulation of generations of stuff, but don't worry, I'm taking it all to the dump tomorrow. I didn't care, and so I, you know, said this is great, and I go to sleep, and in the middle of the night, I was woken up to the sound of the loudest like typewriter noise, like old-fashioned typewriter, you know, like definitely the metal, you know, metal through the ribbon and everything, very, very loudly, very clearly coming from under the stairs. So that's, you know, just right next to where I was sleeping. And I got freaked out. I was thinking to myself, this is a dream. I looked around. I am a heavy sleeper, so I didn't necessarily think that it could be outside the realm of possibility it was a dream, but I was like very clearly awake and very freaked out, and it was slow and rhythmic and just a typewriter sound, and that was all it was, very, very clearly coming from this area. I kind of eventually calmed myself down and decided that I just needed to go to rest and it would be okay, and I did. And the next day I knew I had to tell my roommate about it. Like, I got upstairs and I thought I might sound a little crazy. We certainly don't like have, you know, metaphysical conversations all that often, but it was weird. It felt weird. So I get up there and I tell her as nonchalantly as possible, like, hey, so in the middle of the night I was woken up to this really loud typewriter sound. And she goes, white. And she's not a white lady. And she goes, white. And we both got chills, and she said, that has to be ancestor spirit. My grandfather did a lot of translation down there, you know, a couple generations ago on an old typewriter. This feels weird. I'm calling my parents, because their parents are still very involved in the tribe. They came down and looked through those boxes that she was saying she was going to take to the dump. Everything under the stairs was irreplaceable translations of old Lushootseed stories we would have just hauled to the dump with the rest of the, like, you know, garbage crap that was down there.
So somebody was letting you know.
Yeah, and it was I was unmistakably awake. It was very weird, and the fact that we found those hand typed.
Did they find a typewriter?
She still has a typewriter. It's upstairs now.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah.
Wow, Miley,
So-
that's a great story.
Oh, thanks. Yeah.
We're going to have that. We're going
Oh,
to use it because we're at the Mule
Yeah,
on
we're
South
the-
Tacoma Way in
Yeah.
Tacoma, Washington.
Absolutely.
Right?
That's where
All
we
right.
are. Thank you for
so
visiting
cool.
us.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Wow, great stuff.
Yeah, it was a great. Now you're a history teacher. Think about that.
I've dabbled in history. Yeah, that's the power of the spirits, the native spirits. You never know.
Well, I think what's cool is that it, whatever, heard that she was going to take all that stuff to the dump, woke up the new person, like, can't let this happen. She relayed the message. The elders came down and they found all this stuff. She told us later that it all went into a museum.
Oh, really?
Which is really cool. So thank you, Miley. That was a good story. Really good. And I liked the mule. Liked it a lot.
For sure.
Lizard, thanks. You made the trip down and you bought a fresh bottle of vodka for our fresh squeezed juice.
You know what? Whatever it takes to keep you off our backs for a month, it's worth it.
Oh, no, we're going to do one in 2 weeks. And Scout, you chatted it out today. Good job. Thank you.
I'm trying.
And big thanks to our listeners for listening to the podcast. Without you, we are nothing. And special thanks to Weeknights again for providing original music, and to Mike Mo O'Brien, who did some discordant notes that we have added here to the podcast. He's a great creepy guitar player. I mean, creepy guitar music player.
Don't take it the
He's
wrong way,
not
Mike.
creepy. So until next time, keep the rubber side down, support your local bartenders and servers, and as Ernie Hemingway suggested, always do sober what you said you'd do drunk. That will teach you to keep your mouth shut. That's really how it goes.
Mum's the word.
That's right. So this is copyright Chasing Ghosts on Scooters in Bars.